Our children are growing up in a world where screens are everywhere. The American Academy of Pediatrics found that children spend an average of 7 hours a day using electronic media devices. That's more time than they spend on any other activity. I'm Allison Gibson, Behavioral Health Consultant Coordinator at Mercy Community Healthcare. Today, we're going to talk about screen time and its effects on children from birth to adolescence. We all know that too much screen time is bad for children, but how do we know when too much is too much? The American Academy of Pediatrics makes the following recommendations. No screen time for babies and children under the age of 2. For toddlers and young children, 1 hour of quality educational programming is the limit. And for all children ages 2 and up, 2 hours is the maximum amount of screen time that should be allowed. So what happens when children are overexposed to electronic media? There are physical and behavioral consequences.
I'm Sam Paris, a pediatric nurse practitioner at Mercy, and I'd like to talk with you about some of the physical effects of excessive screen time in children. There are many consequences to excessive screen time in children. Two of the most obvious are obesity and sleep difficulties. Screen time often involves sedentary or inactive behaviors, which are an obvious risk factor for obesity. In fact, one study found that adolescents who average 5 or more hours of screen time per day have 5 times the risk for obesity when compared to adolescents who watch less than 2 hours. Another major risk is sleep difficulty. Many parents use TVs, tablets, and cell phones to help calm children down before sleep. However, these behaviors are actually harmful to good, high-quality rest. The light emitted from screens interferes with the natural sleep cycle in the brain and can lead to poor quality sleep and even insomnia. This lack of sleep can also cause children to be mentally exhausted during the school day, which can affect their education and socialization as well. On the behavioral side, excessive screen time can cause children to have significant delays in key developmental measures such as communication, problem solving, attention skills, and social interactions. It is also important to know early exposure to violence on TV, movies, music, and video games may desensitize children to these behaviors.
So now that we know some of the negative effects of too much screen time, how do we practically apply this to everyday life? The first piece of advice is actually not directed at the kids. Parents, it is so important for you to be a good role model when it comes to screen time. If you're constantly checking social media, or if you're distracted from real-life conversations because you're replying to text messages, your kids will follow suit. Be aware of your personal screen time, and make sure that you're focused on the present when you're with your children. The second tip is to have open conversations with your kids. Explain why too much screen time can be dangerous, and talk about the importance of living an active, non-sedentary lifestyle. The third step gets a little more direct. Establish clear rules about technology. Kids need guidelines in order to have a healthy relationship with digital media. Make rules about the sites your kid visits, the games they play, and the movies they watch. And don't let your children have social media accounts until they are mature enough to handle the responsibility. Lastly, remember the screen time limits as recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. No screen time for children under 2. Only 1 hour per day of quality educational programming for toddlers. And no more than 2 hours of screen time each day for children 2 and older. We hope you found this information on screen time helpful. For more information on Mercy's behavioral health services or to schedule an appointment with a behavioral health consultant, call 615-790-0567 or visit mercytn.org.